Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back. Thanks for checking out the channel. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Lapper flips. I just wanted to do a little video and talk about, things that I learned in 2020 and things that I have planned for 2021. I made a lot of mistakes in 2020. I was learning, I bought my first hockey card on September the 8th. And other than that, I'd collected when I was a kid, but I had a lot to learn. I didn't know a damn thing. So this is the first card that I bought. And yeah, it was a Nathan MacKinnon jumbo. So I didn't even know what a jumbo was. Fortunately, I figured it out really quickly, and it was just about an hour later I messaged a guy and said, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't notice that this was a jumbo. Can you refund me my money? And he went ahead and did that. So, that was sort of a great start to my card collecting career. But it's the same thing I tell my kids, make a mistake, you're gonna grow, you're gonna learn. Just try not to make the same mistake again. So watch out for jumbos. And that's obviously like pre-kindergarten type of stuff. But that was stuff, just to give you an idea of where I started. That's where I started, not knowing what a jumbo was, barely knowing what a young gun was. When I saw YG on all the forums, had no idea what that was. I almost posted, but then I went and Googled and figured out that YG was Young Gun. I figured it out. 2020 was still all about learning though. So with the COVID lockdown, gave me lots of time to learn about cards, to go on Facebook groups and to go on ComC. And well, first of all, to learn what ComC was, to learn what 130.com was, to look at past sales of eBay. Browsing eBay I was pretty familiar with prior to, but it was just a lot of learning. Cardboard Connection is another great resource if you want to look at sets and see what sets contain. If you don't know that, you certainly should before you go spending any large amounts of money on hockey cards or any card. Cardboard Connection is a great resource. I don't know if I've said on this channel, but I have a finance background. I was in finance for 10 years. I'm not anymore. I currently am self-employed, but I do have 10 years in finance background, and that's one of the things I most enjoyed about this too, was sort of observing the hockey card market versus, an equity market, which is what I dealt in the past. And I am still an equity investor, as an individual and for my family. So I know how that market works, and it was just really interesting to me in watching, from the playoff run is when I started collecting. It was later in the playoffs. So watching players go up and down throughout the playoffs, and then leading into the off season where you see prices really decline, and now we're coming back up to the start of the new season and seeing prices really, really skyrocket right now. But watching that market is something that I found really interesting. So why did I start collecting? I started collecting for fun. I'd heard, I'm a Gary Vaynerchuk fan, whether, don't judge me whether you like him or not. I'm a huge fan. I believe in adding value. I believe in happiness. I think it's super important. But at the same time, in being self-employed, I believe in growing, and that's a lot of the fun with the hockey cards to me, is buying hockey cards and reinvesting the money that I make for it in growing my collection and growing my hobby and reselling and scaling. That's what's fun to me. But it's also fun to hold the McDavid hockey card. Sick brag, right? I showed that in another video. But hockey cards in general are really fun. So it's combining the two is what I'm looking at doing. So moving into 2021, I feel like I have a good idea of how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to utilize eBay, ComC, and PSA grading is the basis for what I'll be doing. I'm not going to get too deep into ComC, but what ComC does is it acts as a great place, for a wholesale of cards. So if I want to purchase a large quantity of cards that I can then fill my eBay store with, it's not a store, it's just my page, but you know what I mean, that I can fill my listings with, ComC acts as a great resource. There's cards out there that are anywhere from 27 to 40 cents on ComC that you can list for anywhere from between $3.99 and $8.99, and people will purchase them. You got to know what that is. That takes the time, and I'm certainly still learning that, but I got some cards that have sold really well for me that I didn't think would sell. But listen, it's not up to me or you to tell people what what they're gonna buy. You just put it out there and let the market determine what they're gonna buy and what they're gonna pay. So I've bought a good pile of cards that I'm gonna restock my eBay store with, and you know, that's gonna act as a revenue stream. So other than the eBay store, there's a couple of other ways you can make money. One of the ways that people talk about a lot is investing and buying cards that you think are gonna increase in value over some amount of time. Now, I certainly agree with that, and there are cards that I'll hold for investment. Tiger Woods jumps to mind. Those cards I will likely hold, and we'll see. I'm not too hurt if I lose all of it, but I'm not looking at buying cards to put in a vault and keep down there and pull them out at retirement time and liquidate and do that. I'm looking for a quicker ROI right now, which is just going to allow me to buy some other cards that I want to put in my collection, that I can put out. Like I have this McDavid and the Ovechkin behind you that I can put out and I can look at and I can enjoy. So I don't need hordes and hordes of those, but some of the ones that I want cost more money. So I hope that I can do this and create an ROI to increase my collection. So other than eBay, there's a couple ways to make money. One of those is, you know, prospecting or buying a player with the expectation that they're going to increase in value over some amount of time. Now that takes time. I'm trying to make this go faster. Having said that, I have purchased, you know, some younger guys, some young guns who I've talked about in other videos. So if you don't know who those guys are, you can check it out. And I'll make future videos on it too with the hockey season coming up. But I purchased those guys with the expectation that they'll go up. And I do a little bit of that, but that's a slow process and it's not going to create a very fast return. Which leads me to the grading, which is going to be my primary source of, you know, ROI for the hockey cards, and which will allow me to scale, is by getting monthly submissions to PSA and have those come back, sell them, and then I can use that money to reinvest. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm making purchases on COMC and I'm loading up my eBay store with those, and with that revenue I can use towards PSA submissions, okay, and cards. But doing submissions to PSA isn't without risk, you know? There's lots of risk there. It's very expensive. It costs between $15 to $75 to grade a card. So you need to have some capital in order to be able to do that. But the goal is to get cards which have a low multiple of PSA 10 value, or sorry, a high multiple of PSA 10 value versus the raw value. So most cards in terms of hockey, I can't speak to other sports because I don't know them, but most hockey cards will sell at somewhere around 4 times raw. Some are as low and below 3 times raw value. But there's other cards that you can get graded and that sell for 9, 10, 11, up to 12 times the raw value. So there's a real opportunity there to take those cards, get them graded, sell them off, and, you know, have that revenue there that you can then use to reinvest, or do what you want with. So another risk with PSA submissions is pre-grading. So you want to be able to grade your cards really well before doing that. You want to be able to pick out 10s. If you get 9s, it's going to be a battle just to get your money back. So you're looking at getting 10s. And what I've done is, for the 2 submissions that I have in a PSA right now, I started a spreadsheet. Another thing that I actually enjoy doing, some may not, but I enjoy doing it, is I have a spreadsheet, and every single card I have an expected grade, and I have full details on the card on why I think it may not grade a 10. So my job through the exercise was to find a reason for it to not grade a 10. And having said that, if it has a tiny bit of white in the corner, I would make a note of that, but I would say, okay, I still expect that to be a 10, or this one may be slightly off center, whatever the case may be. Take notes and know how you're doing. You got to be able to audit yourself and see how accurate you are with your submissions. So I'm not putting everything a 9, and then when they come back 10s, it's like, you have to be honest with yourself. And I did send in some cards that I think were 9s. that were really close to a 10, and those are going to be points that let me judge, okay, this was a 10, this one was a 9. So pre-grading and going through that process is really important. So one of the other things that I learned this year a lot about was COM-C and how to use that, but I'm not going to get into that really deeply in this video. As I said before, my whole plan for 2021 is really going to be to, make purchases on COM-C. I'm going to use those to fill up my eBay store, sell those cards in eBay, which is going to create money that I can use elsewhere, whether that's purchasing cards or whether that's for PSA submissions. So I don't want to spend any more of my own money. I have hockey cards I can sell if I need money, like the Ovechkin and the McDavid. I don't plan on keeping those. There's capital right there that I can use to further grow my business. I call it a business. It's a hobby, but the way that I look at it, again, this is just fun, guys. Like, for me, is growing. I'm not doing this to get rich. I'm not doing it to try and create a second job. I'm doing it because the fun is buying more expensive cards and scaling. So that's what I'm trying to do, and that's where I'm trying to get. If you just want to collect, well, I think that's wonderful, and lots of people do. If you want to just buy certain cards because you think that they're going to go up in 10 years, like a Lafreniere might be the next Ovechkin, or next Crosby, as I guess he's compared, go ahead and do that. It's all up to you. That's the best thing about this. But I'm just telling you what my plan is and what I find enjoyable within the hobby, and maybe there's something there of value that you can take and you can use. I'll talk more about eBay and COM-C in future videos, but that's my plan for 2021. I think it's going to be a great year. I hope you guys have a great year too. Like and subscribe to the video, please. Share it, do whatever. Follow me on Instagram, LAPP3R30_flips. I post some pictures of cards there and, fun stuff. But thanks for watching the video. If you guys have any questions, please, or you want to see videos on specific things, or if you don't want to see videos on COM-C, then let me know. I mean, a lot of people seem to want to, especially because hockey, I feel like less people in hockey use COM-C versus the other sports. I could be totally wrong on that. That's just an assumption I'm making. But let me know what you want to see, and I appreciate you watching the video. I appreciate you taking the time, and stay safe. Again, hope you had a great new year. I hope your family's doing well. I wish you all the best in 2021, and just get out there and have fun, guys.